you?
Not too fast.
Yeah, we're here in the winner's circle. We got Dwayne Dedmon. We got Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero, last night after the loss, Kyle Lowry said the toughest win is the first one. How good does it feel just to get in the win column?
Yeah, it feels amazing to get on the, get on the right track. The first two weren't exactly how we wanted it. But, we learn from it, we watch film, we get better every day, every game, and tonight was the first win of the season, so we're excited. We're going to enjoy it for sure.
This one was a feisty one, especially after Caleb got into it. How much do you guys enjoy playing in these types of games like you did in the second half?
That's who we are. We won't back down from anybody, won't back down from a challenge. It's just who we are.
This team's offense in the first half, moving the ball around, you guys looked really, really good offensively. How much of a focal point was that, guys, for you, to drive and kick and really move the ball around the way you did?
I thought we were good offensively. I think defensively we were better as well, on a string together, covering for each other, flying around making plays on that end of the ball. Good defense leads to good offense, so it was better than the last two games.
Well, and now it's sort of like a playoff series. You got these guys back here on Monday night, so what do you guys need to do to follow up this one and get back in the win column, get to 500 on Monday?
We got an off day tomorrow, so we're going to enjoy that. Then we'll be back in here on Monday, I believe. Monday, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So we'll be back on here on Monday and try to take care of business again and get to 500.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tyler. Great game from you. Great game from the Miami Heat. We really enjoyed this one as the Heat get in the win column and take this one 112-109. We'll be back right after this to wrap everything up.
Thank you.
Doing it any way possible was the big thing here, man. This was a back-and-forth game where the Raptors really came back in the second half. What did you guys have to do to make sure they couldn't come all the way back? What type of effort had to be there?
Yeah. We knew coming into it, they're a tough team. They crashed the glass. They got a lot of big bodies. So, they made their run. The momentum swung their way. But, we just stuck together through it all and got some big stops down at the end of the stretch and really just came together as a group and got some defensive stops.
37 minutes for you, 20 points, and a lot of it came from cutting, slashing. How much are you enjoying being a part of the offense in that way where, it's not just the three ball?
Yeah, no, it's fun basketball. When the ball's moving, guys are playing together, we're sharing the ball. That's the best way to play. And, that's when we're at our best. So, tonight I was the successor of that. And, every night it's going to be somebody new. So it's fun to play like that. And it's fun when we play together.
I know how much pride you guys take on the defensive side of the ball. How excited were you to see the way that the defense played in the first half?
Yeah.
Really bringing things together.
Yeah, after the last two games, that was the point of emphasis. Really pick it up on the defensive end and play with more effort. And I thought we did a great job of that. Let it swing away from us a little bit in the second half, but when it came down to it, we were able to get some stops and come together as a unit.
Now, this was a bit of a slugfest in the second half in particular. Now you guys get these guys again on Monday. So how much, John, back and forth will there be? How much can we look forward to Monday's match?
We'll be all right. Just two teams that play really hard. So it'll be another grind out of the mud game, and we're built for it, and we'll be ready to play hard and try to get another one on Monday.
Max Strus, 20 points in 37 minutes. A great game from him. A great win for the Miami Heat. Guys, back up to you.
Jeremy, Max, thank you. I know there's always two ways to look at games like this. One is you were able to get up to a 24-point lead. The other part is then it got down to 3.
Yeah.
What changed? How concerning is it, or encouraging is the entire picture?
Yeah, when the result ends like this, I love all of the emotions and the experiences and just the game management, the emotional management, mental stability management, fourth quarter execution going down the stretch, but a lot of teaching points in that fourth quarter. And look, regardless of what happened, the way NBA games go right now, like if you have a 20-point lead, that could change anyway, fairly quickly. So it was unfortunate. Caleb feels bad about that. He was playing a great game, and it got pretty intense under the backboard. I wish it didn't come to that, but we were able to respond and and be able to have a lot of contributions in that fourth quarter, different guys, and it wasn't necessarily the lineups that we thought we'd go to, and ultimately we were able to come away with a win.
What was going on in that moment was obviously, bad enough, but when it happens like 3 feet from your bench, then you got to worry about guys getting
of course.
in. What were you seeing? How in that was, because it looked like it was going to get a lot worse there for a second.
It did, and I don't want to make light of it. It's different than the 90s, though. Of course, that's where I immediately go. I'm thinking about, getting everybody off that baseline. I thought Malik did a great job of keeping everybody on the bench, and it's just one of those emotional things that happened, and thankfully, it didn't escalate. I don't think it affected necessarily the tenor or emotions after that. It was an isolated incident between two players. Again, like I said, I wish it didn't happen, that way with Caleb. But it did, and then we had to manage that. They had some energy, and the swing momentum after that, it could have looked a lot worse, but we were able to respond and make some big plays, going down the stretch.
Max has said that he could he feels like his game could fit in most lineups. How do you feel like he's adjusted back to the bench role, another 20-point game tonight?
Oh, very well. Yeah, Max can play with any lineup. He has that kind of versatility. He can play as a spacer, for your best players. He can also play with the second unit and be a little bit more of a trigger, which he was tonight. With more time, he'll probably enjoy this more. And if I asked him to start, he'd probably say no. I'd rather play in this kind of role. But he also is shifting, playing with both lineups, and that's probably the best of all worlds. But he's becoming much more complete. You saw it defensively tonight. He guarded, I think, I'll have to go to the film, but I think he guarded 1 through 5 against a very challenging team. They all put the ball on the floor. They're relentless, and you can't hide in a game like this.
Eric, it happens a lot. You could use a timeout. You have 2 left. Tyler's struggling against pressure. It seemed like there were some people trying to call it. How does this league get away when the officials clearly are looking on, all focusing on that? How can you get your timeout actually called? I assume you were trying to get one in that situation?
Yes, I was, and Kyle was right there. So he was closer to the officials. Tyler didn't see me, Tyler the official, but we were screaming timeout. It's tough. That's why I have made that point when I've gotten scolded for running out on the court. How else can you get somebody's attention at that point? I know I can. If I get on that wood and everybody says, oh, okay. But again, I think those things are good for us to go through together. Even though it's a familiar group, I love those late game situations. Just to gain more experience and figure out how we'll do it differently.
Another one on Max. He's never really been someone you only want to put in the shooter box, but how have you seen over the last year and then what he's taken from last year and this year as far as his inside the arc package?
Well, him and Duncan and, a few of our players have really worked, pretty diligently against the scouting reports that have been pretty consistent about getting those guys off the line. And they worked all summer long, all off season, to be able to put the ball on the floor and make some plays. You saw some of the floaters, some of the finishes, but also the playmaking, which is important. Sometimes you get in there and you attract a crowd. They're used to being the recipients from that, but now they're setting up other guys on some of these kickouts. And that's not just by accident. That's from a lot of hours working behind the scenes and doing something specific based on how they've been defended.
I don't mean to ask you only about Max, but defensively, this felt like one of his better defensive games in terms of rotations and just kind of weak side help. What have you seen in that development in terms of just knowing when to make the timing of the weak side help to get the charge, or of just rotating in general?
Yeah, well, last year I think was his biggest development in that regard. And he's just starting to now take another step forward. He feels very comfortable and confident now in our system. And so now he's a little bit more of a playmaker, a little bit more instinctual. Like I said, he has the versatility to be able to guard different positions. And he likes taking the challenge on the ball, particularly if teams, call him up and try to get him in a switch. He wants that kind of challenge. But then weak side, he's worked diligently, for really two years plus now, understanding weak side rotations. And he's good because he's bigger, and he also is willing to put his body in the fray and take charges and take hits.
With Vic out, how important has Gabe's kind of off-ball, on-ball versatility been at that guard spot off the bench?
Really important. He's such a Swiss Army knife for a combo guard because he can guard up. He can guard 3s and 4s for somebody his height, which is really unique, but he has a very aggressive disposition. He can really get down in a stance. He likes taking the challenge on that. And when we went through all that foul trouble and then Caleb was out, we went, with a small lineup, and he was really guarding the forwards. That versatility, you never really know when you'll need it, but he's been doing that for a while, and he's a great understudy, to Kyle. Kyle's one of those guys that can guard up as well as anybody really in the history of the game, and Gabe really watches him closely. Okay, thank you.
Take us through the sequence, please, and from your perspective, what happened?
I just think that there's a lot of plays like kind of leading up to it. It's a chippy game.
Rim job, what's up, baby?
That's typically how the game goes with, Toronto. It's a chippy back and forth. But ultimately, you know what I mean? I just think that emotions were high, and the game is a close game. It's back and forth, and overall, I gotta be more professional in that, and in the way I handle those type of situations.
Yeah, this just got out of hand, and I think Caleb makes the best point, coaches. This wasn't where the iron was striking. This is just the fallout from it. A couple plays before that.
I was going to ask you about Tyler's rim pressure just in general over the last 2 games, is just kind of working the offense in different ways. What is that opening up, I guess, for you and the rest of the offense?
I mean, when he's aggressive, obviously making shots, that helps us. But he's also been getting everybody involved, making all the right reads, and that's just showing how he's grown as a player. He is, always will be very key to us on the offensive side of things, but he's getting better defensively too. So the more games he plays, the more comfortable that he's going to get, and he's already hella comfortable. So only way is up from here for him.
I was also going to ask you about Max defensively tonight. He did a lot of good things offensively, but just the rotations defensively, kind of swinging over from weak side to get the charge. Just what have you seen in growth on that end from him, and just what does that change, I guess, for you guys defensively?
Max wants to get a stop, and he cares because he knows that if he doesn't, we're going to get on his tail about it. I did not say a cuss word. You're welcome. And so he definitely tries to do right. He knows where he's supposed to be at on the floor. He's strong. He moves his feet pretty well. And he got some key stops tonight, and he's going to need to do that because, he's also going to be a key part of his rotation. We all know that he can make some shots, but if you can get stops, it's going to be really hard to take you off the floor.
Jimmy, a game like this, is the takeaway that you were good enough to get up 24 on a really good team, or is the takeaway we've got to find a way so it doesn't get back down to a 5 or 6 point game?
Takeaway is we won. We got our first dub of the season, and we take them as they come. We living with that. Yes, we can be better, but like I always say, I'd rather learn from wins than from losses.
And then someone like Gabe and the way he played with Kyle at the end. And, Spo always tells us he's a combo guard, but yet last year was a lot of either or. Kyle was injured. Gabe was really good against the Atlanta series. Kyle came back. What do you see from Gabe as a growth of a player, as a combo guard, and that he can be with Kyle or step in for Kyle?
Gabe is good. He can shoot the ball. He can finish well around the rim. He plays with a lot of energy. He knows damn near every play from every position. I mean, I like him and Kyle playing together. It gives Kyle the opportunity to play off the ball, come off pin downs. Gabe's so unselfish. He's trying to give him the ball and get everybody involved. I mean, that dude's been working for however long now to prove that he belongs to play in this league, which he does. And I think on, many other teams, he could even be a starter. But I'm glad that he's on my team.
Staying on the topic of Kyle and Gabe, defensively, their ability to guard up, that versatility, how does that impact the defense, and how does that make your guys' job easier?
It actually makes our job really simple. Kyle always want to guard forwards for some reason, but good for him because I don't want to go down there and hit bodies on a defensive end. Offensively, I run into people. And then Gabe will switch if you ask him / tell him to onto a 5-3-4-2 or guard the point. Like, those are the guys that you want to go to battle with that I ain't scared of any matchup, no matter how big the name is, no matter what day of the week it is, no matter what time of the day it is. With those two out there on the floor, you always got a chance to get a stop.
Jimmy, you weren't really worried about the offense in the first two games at all, but was this what you felt was the best version of the team offense tonight?
No, I think we played kind of bad offensively. We got stagnant at times. We weren't moving the ball as well as we need to be moving the ball. We just made some shots. That was it. I think we could be much better on the offensive end, for sure on the defensive end as well. But I don't think this was like peak Miami Heat offense with all the weapons that we have. I don't think so at all.
Jimmy, I was going to ask you about the play late. You were trying to get into your bag a little bit, and it got called a travel. Just
That's
what was your take on that?
That's not a travel. I do that upstairs every day before the game, working on my footwork. I cannot believe he called that. Tyler, it's all good, man. We cool, but I was going to get a bucket if he didn't call a travel. Can't believe. All right, I'm out. Peace.
Had to hold on at the end and maybe still work on that the finishing stuff. So what's the overall takeaway of a night like this?
We won.
Good takeaway.
Bottom line. So a whole bunch of stuff going on out there today. Bottom line, the win is the all that matters. Hey, man, shut up. All right.
How much do you think that playoff experience that Gabe and Max got last year, playing bigger roles, Gabe visibly Kyle was out and Max starting, how much do you think that's helped them and kind of spilled over into this season?
I mean, it's gave him confidence. You see Max taking big shots now. You see Gabe, getting this rhythm in the fourth. It's just confidence. I feel like that's the biggest thing for everybody. The playoff experience gave him confidence.